second.
See, it's like sliding.
Welcome to the No Name MMA Show, the best damn MMA podcast we've never heard of. My name is Motivated Andy. We are doing an Instagram live edition because of the snowy weather. As always, joined by me, co-host.
No Nut Shot Nina.
And we will be joined by Juan in just a second.
AKA Mystic Daddy Juan.
Mystic Daddy Juan. What's going on, Locked In Corey? Before we get Juan on, we have a lot to talk about. Pay-per-view Daddy is back with a bigger price and on paper, a weaker card. 8 debuts, the most in a long-ass fucking time, especially on a pay-per-view. That's never happened. Mm-hmm. We do have, though, Francis Ngannou betting the fucking house on himself against Cyril Gane, and we also have Brandon Moreno facing off against Davieson Figueredo for the trilogy that nobody's really even hearing about.
And this is Moreno's first title defense, right?
That's correct. And this is the first trilogy. Hello, baby.
Aww.
This is the first trilogy that has happened back to back to back.
Yeah.
And the first time it was that draw. The second time, Moreno won convincingly. So we'll see what happens with that. And then, humble pie is served. Calvin Kattar whooped that ass. So very nice. So very good. We'll be talking about all that. Juan should be joining shortly. Unless, he's being a Juan. But, question from Locked In Corey. This pay-per-view kinda stinky. Like, none of the fights jump off the page. You're right. It's definitely a weaker pay-per-view. Especially when, I don't want to be a penny pincher, but also, this shit ain't cheap. And for $75, you're getting a whole lot of nothing. Looking up the pay-per-view right now. Figgy got a win? After he got destroyed? I want to see what the weigh-in looks like, but we'll talk about that in a second. But first, while we still wait for Juan, babe, what have you been up to?
Me, just attempting to burn down our apartment every time I turn our oven on. It is a smoke show in here, so pardon the delay today. I'm sorry. What else is going on? Well, here in Charlotte, North Carolina, we got our first snowstorm of the year, and really first snowstorm of like the last 4 years, maybe?
Yeah, 5, something like that.
But
it's been a minute.
So we have been just keeping warm and inside and off the roads because I don't know if you're here watching this from North Carolina, but we ain't no shit about the snow.
Yo.
So.
What are Francis's chances? I want to wait to talk about this on the show, but we might have to get going. This one's a bitch.
No.
I ain't no bitch. Regular. Well, nah.
He's not a bitch.
A bitch?
A bitch. He ain't no bitch.
I don't know. Maybe. We'll wait for the end of the show, but as for me, what I have been up to, just working on the YouTube channel. We just passed 30,000 views, so thank you very much. We got a special surprise lined up for Sunday. I don't know. If we get a certain amount of views or listens on this episode, let's say 20, which we've gotten before, but not recently, we'll release it.
And this is like a good surprise.
This is a really fucking good surprise.
This is a good one.
This is a very exclusive, awesome surprise for the hardcores that listen to us. Nobody else. For the pay-per-view, you have Rodolfo Vieira, you have Cody Stamann against Said Nurmagomedov, Michel Pereira against Andre Fialho. He's going to get destroyed. Then Brandon Moreno against Davieson Figueredo, and Francis Ngannou against Cyril Gane. Saturday, January 22nd, 10 p.m. So, well, I don't know. But while we're waiting for Juan, we'll go ahead and get started with the MMA Minute.
All right, perfect. Let's get started. All right, Nelson signs new UFC deal. Eyes March return. Once considered one of the brightest prospects in the welterweight division, Nelson hasn't competed since 2019. So that will be something definitely to look forward to, his return.
Yeah, Gunnar Nelson has been out. So if you guys didn't know, he broke his clavicle bone while he was doing jiu-jitsu with the fucking mountain from Game of Thrones. So, yeah, he had released a video.
Mountain.
Yeah.
Can you imagine seeing that man even just in real life?
Yeah.
Because I've seen him on not only Game of Thrones, but the like Strongest Man Alive competitions. Yeah.
Which he won. Remember that?
Frightening!
You remember that log? That record log?
Juan's trying to join also, by the way.
Let's go, Juan. And
Juanita!
Juan summoned.
Hi.
Hey, dude.
What's cracking?
Not much. How are you guys doing?
Doing good. So we skipped over a little bit, but not a lot. Juan, what have you been up to this past week?
Working. We had that one day. I had one day off because of the snow and ice, and so just stayed home chilling. Been going into work late because I don't want to drive in the dark. Drive in the dark while it's icy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair point. That would be completely fucked.
Yeah.
But yeah. That's it for you, Juan?
Yeah, that's it.
Just trying to be safe, not trying to get fucked up on the road?
Yeah.
Fair point. Okay. All right. Well, off to you for the no name of the week. Did we get one this week?
Yes and no. None of them were on the. It wasn't on the prelim card, but it was on the main card. I don't know how guy's name. What's that guy's name? The only one with the knockout. He's the only guy who got knocked out.
Collier?
I just don't know how to.
Jake? Well, no, he didn't have a knockout.
I just don't know how to pronounce it. It was the guy who fought him. I just don't know how to pronounce his name.
I don't remember.
But he's the bald guy. If you go look at the no name MMA, blah 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 blah. If you go look at the ESPN MMA app, you'll see his name and you'll see his highlight. But he was the only person who got knocked out, and it was a TKO versus a KO. But it was pretty sick. But it was a heavy decision card, which is fine. I like seeing wars and stuff, and the main card was a war. So now,
do you ever see one where you see that they call it as a TKO, but you would have probably called it as a KO?
Slava Klaus, that's who.
Yeah.
It was Slava Klaus Borshev.
The bald guy?
He was the bald guy. He looks like Santa Claus. He is from Norway. He apparently just dipped out of Norway. He was like, I want to do MMA. He tells his wife, I want to do MMA. And then he just dips, flies out to California to start MMA and gets in the UFC.
Is that his nickname?
Slava Klaus.
Okay.
Thank you, Marvin Chabada, bro. Thank you.
That guy.
Yeah, that was the only knockout.
I saw his actual name, and I was just like, bro, I cannot even try to say that because that's just, no.
Yeah.
No. Too much disrespect.
Yeah.
I try my hardest to be as close as I can when I'm calling out these names, and I'm like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. So.
But yeah. Sorry, Slava Klaus. It'd be like that sometimes. Your name is really hard, but we'll try. Hopefully, if you get another knockout or something, we'll get reacclimated with your name and we'll see it more times, and then it won't
Blame
be a
your
big deal.
parents.
But yeah.
Yeah. We were also just talking about how Nelson signed his new UFC deal and how he was once considered one of the brightest prospects in welterweight, but that he hasn't competed since 2019 because he had fought the frickin' Mountain from Game of Thrones.
It wasn't even him fighting. They were just playing around, playing jiu-jitsu, and the Mountain kind of ended up leaning up on his clavicle
Oh my
and broke it.
fuck. I
For
would have
his, yeah.
nightmares of that for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Well, that dude's a monster. Like, imagine all that
They're a
weight.
monster.
Yeah. No, absolutely not. That's horrible. That's horrible.
All right. Well, glad to have him back. Something to look forward to.
Yup.
We'll see what happens.
Yaroslav Amosov versus Michael Venom Page title fight headlines Bellator London. The Bellator Welterweight Championship is staked to take place on May 13th, which is right after we leave London. So we're literally missing this in London by
A day?
a day.
What? No.
I'm going to look up our dates right now.
Yo, that's fucked. And that's in
Stay
O2. But if that is a thing, we're going to go see Michael Venom Page because the tickets are like $50. So, yeah. But anyway.
Wait. When is this? May 13th? A
May 13th.
Wednesday?
Yeah.
It's on a Wednesday?
Yeah.
May
13th, you're looking at April.
Oh, shit. My bad.
You get me hyped. Anyway, Yaroslav Amosov is who I have in front of Vicente Luque, Juan. And Michael Venom Page is right underneath that. So this has major implications for welterweight. And we'll see. Michael Venom Page, the whole narrative is that he only fights cans. And Yaroslav, again, he's 26-0, but against who? And they are decisions. So a lot of implications on the line. And Michael Venom Page, he actually has somebody to fight. So, yeah, looking forward to that one.
Crazy.
The disrespect to Luque.
We'll see, man. Hey, I'm not saying that Luque did lose to Wonder Boy, though. And bad.
Wonder Boy's good, though.
Is he? He lost. He got wrestle fucked by Bilal Muhammad.
So he's a karate boy.
People hate on Bilal way too much. People hate on that dude way too much.
I don't hate on him. He tries so hard. He really does try so hard to make us love him.
But
we just
also,
don't
Wonder
want
Boy,
him at all.
Wonder Boy is top 5 and the Tyron Woodley age of like a Tyron Woodley being a champion age. You know, the Tyron Woodley era. He's top 5 there. This is a different era coming up, and Wonder Boy hadn't had the chance to fight in order to still claim or show that that's his spot. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, fair point. He's trash now, though. It'd be like that.
Rip.
Exactly.
All right. Chikadze, after loss to Kattar, I would beat him 9 times out of 10. Sus. Even after his first loss in the UFC, Giga Chikadze remains unfazed with the belief that he's the better fighter over Calvin Kattar. Negative.
Yeah, I don't know what reality he's in. I love the confidence because you need that in order to be a fighter. Like you got to have that mentality that I'm better than somebody, right?
Can this man even open his eyes yet? His eyes were like closed, swollen shut.
He got wrecked.
One judge had it 50-44. That means there was a 10-8 round in there.
I counted every single round to Kattar.
Yeah, everybody had every single round to Kattar. He might have won the first 2 minutes, which was I was like,
first
okay.
2 minutes went to Giga.
And then as soon as he climbed right on top of him, game over. That was it.
It was because he slipped, and then Calvin Kattar. This was the most impressive reflex.
Wait. We'll be talking about it later, but yeah, Chikadze needs a reality check, but we'll be talking about that too.
Crazy. All right, put a pin in it. Oh, we're putting Juan to sleep.
Oh,
No, no,
sleep.
no, 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 no.
Baby, you
Right,
forgot to
go.
roll
Oh,
over
lullaby.
here for me.
Oh.
UFC heavyweight Carlos Felipe suspended 18 months after failed drug screening, which
That
this is the
sucks.
second time he's been popped by USADA, right?
Yeah. So the first time it was reported by Mark Raimondi. I'm forgetting who reported it the second time, but he just took the punishment because it's like $4,500 or something that he has to pay.
Like,
If
what
he
is
had,
the point of
if
that?
if he had to get an attorney and everything else, it would be like 10 grand with all the testing and stuff.
Yeah,
But
but
the
that
first
sucks.
time away for 2 years. This time, 18 months. So another year and a half. So this man has lost 3.5 years of his career in his prime
Yeah.
because he's been fucking around.
Yeah, that sucks too. I had high hopes for him. Man,
Yeah.
But also, don't be a piece of shit. And that's what Ty Tabasa put out on his Instagram. Like, damn, you did all the steroids and you're still fucking up and losing. So, yeah.
Speaking of fuck ups, Greg Hardy versus Sergey Pivak moved to UFC 272.
Good transition.
Thank you.
That's all I need to say. I don't give a fuck about this fight.
UFC 270 commentary team set up for Joe Rogan, DC, and John Anik to call the first pay-per-view of 2022, which
the
really
perfect
is like
trio.
the holy trinity.
Yeah.
Dana White doesn't love move to raise UFC pay-per-view prices, but it's not my decision, he says.
Bullshit.
That's bullshit.
He's on the same. He's at the same table that decision's being made at.
Completely.
Yeah, and that's the thing. He like champions are negotiated pay-per-view prices. So even if you took that side of things, pay-per-view prices are directly reflective of how much a pay-per-view is. So the percentage of whatever that is has now been increased. So
I bet you.
at one point or another, Dana White and the UFC do have a say-so in pay-per-view prices going up $5. If they really wanted to, they could have been like, "No, 70's the limit." But no, everybody wants to get a little bit more green. That's fine. Just call it what it is. Don't be a fucking hypocrite, and also don't try to pass the buck. That's my thing with the UFC. Like, we know what you do. We know. So just own up to it, and we're grown-ups enough to kind of be like, yeah, it sucks. You can't give everybody 50 and 50. Well, like,
I
it
bet
is what
you
it
what
is.
he
But don't
does.
say, we're doing it for the best of the fighters. Like, bullshit.
I bet you what he does is he turns bonuses to $75,000 instead of giving fighters more money, and that way ultimately he's paying less money, but people are getting more in bonuses. So it's like makes it seem like it's okay when it's not.
Yeah.
And like per Ariel Helwani's podcast, in UFC history, the big name fighters are making more than they ever have before. So it is a step in the right direction. The like kind of newer rookie fighters are getting paid probably what they ought to be getting paid roughly.
Yeah.
As a newbie, but it's really like people even in the elites, like the people we see, the people we root for all the time, maybe even new champions are not getting paid their due, and that's the mass majority of the roster overall, the UFC right now. So yeah, your legends are getting paid what they should be. Your new guys are getting paid what they should probably be. And then the rest of them, which is the majority, aren't getting paid.
But even then, like champions, Henry Cejudo,
that's what I'm saying.
A double champ was getting reportedly paid around $450,000 max for a pay-per-view. Like Henry Cejudo saved the flyweight division. And then he fucking massacred TJ Dillashaw. And then went to bantamweight to get that title. And then beat Marlon Moraes. Like, he's the guy who beat Demetrius Johnson. He should be getting for a title shot, like he should be getting $500,000. Like, bare minimum. Come on. And then Francis Ngannou is getting paid the same amount as Henry Cejudo when Tyson Fury is getting paid reportedly $25 million.
Yeah.
He can't even do 1 million. He can't do 1/25th of the guy who's doing a different sport that has less stuff to worry about. Like, it's absurd. But, you know,
That's MMA fighting for you, and unfortunately, that's UFC MMA fighting. That's why sometimes when we hear the news that somebody's left the UFC and maybe are going to take their chances in Bellator or Pride or something else, they're probably getting paid something closer to what they are worth. So, if anything, make that money,
yeah.
Money, money,
honey.
money, money, money.
Fuck yeah. All about it.
All right, moving on. Calvin Chikadze hits free agency after revealing UFC declined to offer new contract before her latest win.
She is the first UFC fighter to hit 10 decisions. She has 17 fights. 14 of those fights have been decisions. So if the UFC wanted to send a message, it'd be like, you're good, but we're looking for something different.
Mm-hmm. It's not you, it's me.
I mean, it's unfortunate. Per our No Name MMA show ranking, she has now moved up to number 3. So if she gets, actually into free agency and she ends up going to a Bellator or a One, she would be a high-ranked free agent.
To our standards, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Dana White's in the position to be letting any women go, but that's just me.
You're right.
No.
You're right. I don't think it would be the smartest move, especially after she just beat Jennifer Maia.
Any talent that you have in such a shallow division, you keep all that high talent that you've got. You don't not re-sign them. You put the contract in front of them, and if they walk, that's on them. But you're right.
There's other divisions that you can use to make an example out of. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
women's divisions. That's not it.
Yeah, they're already fragile enough as is.
And that's it for the MMA Minute this week. So over to Mr. Motivated himself for It's Time.
First, Juan has left. Let's talk about the humble pie that is Giga Chikadze. And that's the humble pie that he has to eat due to Calvin Kattar punishing the shit out of him with those gnarly gnarly elbows. I can't read worth a shit.
He did a master class.
Yes. Cutting him up multiple times, literally ran the table through Giga for 4.5 rounds. First, and I'll start with Juan, is Giga taking the shine away from Calvin Kattar? Because now we're only talking about Giga Chikadze and not Calvin Kattar.
Are we? I mean,
we're talking about him now.
Well, yeah, but I think overall the conversation, yes, the conversation is about Giga, but ultimately this isn't like a win-lose for Kattar because he is the guy. Okay, he answered the question after that major beatdown from Max Holloway. Was he going to be able to make a comeback from this? Was he going to be able to get right back in there and as far as a title ship contender? And he proved that he was be able to against like a major contender who was arguing that he should be fighting for the title right now. So ultimately, yes, we're talking about Giga, but it's in a very negative. It's in a negative context because he was supposed to be fighting for the championship, but he got destroyed by Kattar.
So, babe, what about you?
I feel like kind of like what you said, Juan, like it's not really a lose for Calvin Kattar at this point. yes, we're also talking about Giga, but they kind of go hand in hand, at least for me in the conversations I'm kind of like participating in more. It's like, yeah, that was so gnarly, but then also it was like, but holy crap, was I so blown away and impressed by how much Calvin Kattar fucking whipped his ass for the whole 23 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, it was so insane. And we kind of talked a second about it in the last segment, but as soon as Giga slipped on the canvas, Calvin Kattar, like, before my brain also registered it, was already like falling back from his hit and then like on top of him. And like just the reflexes that showed was like nothing I've ever seen. I feel like so far as a fan in the UFC, like live real time. And so I feel like as much as that was such a like not controversial, like a high topic kind of loss for Giga, it was also like such a gnarly win for Calvin Kattar, I feel like. So I don't feel like it's stealing the light from him. I feel like there's enough light to be shown for each category, kind of.
This isn't the whole like Nate Diaz, Leon Edwards situation. You know what I'm saying?
No.
It's not close to that at all. So I think Kattar is getting the respect that he deserves. And I think now Kattar did something he was not supposed to do. Therefore, it throws a wrench in kind of the plans. And what do you do now?
So, on that note, Yair Rodriguez is on the table, and so is Brian Ortega. Babe, I'll start with you. Out of those two fighters, who would you like to see Calvin Kattar fight?
I feel like I'd like to see him fight Brian Ortega just because, I think he would beat Brian Ortega. I don't know that he would beat Yair Rodriguez. Last time we saw Yair Rodriguez, I was like, who the hell gave him permission to come back like that? Yeah, I was like very impressed with his return. I do think he would beat Calvin Kattar. I think Kattar could beat Brian Ortega, though.
I think so, too. Juan, who would you prefer to see?
See, for me, this is difficult because Brian Ortega deserves it more.
Yeah.
But, all right, so he goes in there, he beats Kattar, and then what do you do with Brian Ortega? Like, you put him into another title contendership fight, and then he fights Volkanovski again, or he fights
Max Holloway?
He fights Max Holloway again. You know, like, I think at this point, company-wise, it makes more sense to put Yair, who is coming off like a sane loss, but like a very entertaining loss. And you put Yair in there and see what he can do. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think Yair's the move and not Brian.
I think for either one of these three, they need at least 2 wins to get back in title contention. Obviously, we're living in COVID times, so it doesn't matter if you're ranked number 7th. If the person that falls out of line again, that's why we have Korean Zombie against Alexander Volkanovski. It happens all the fucking time.
Yeah.
So realistically, I would like everybody that loses a championship match or a title contention match to get 2 wins back to get to that spot. You're right, the UFC is creating problems in the top of the divisions because they're kind of regurgitating fights. However, I think that Calvin and Brian, because they both landed that spinning back elbow, just like Brian landed on Korean Zombie, Calvin Kattar landed on Giga Chikadze. Perfect. Exactly the same. A step in back elbow.
And honestly, I was gonna add this on too, but they were talking about it a little bit in the post show. Did you watch any of that one?
No.
But they were saying that like they were seeing things that Calvin Kattar had obviously just learned from being taught them by Max Holloway. So to see him kind of like lose, but the lesson was learned, and then he can use it against his next opponent, kind of shows me too that like, yeah, if he does lose to either Rodriguez or Ortega, like he's going to be a scary person for whoever he fights next. And maybe he lost that one, but you know, just like you said, maybe you need 2 wins or before you can come back to the contender of
Featherweight.
thank you.
Yeah.
And then also, I think if Kattar fights Yair and Yair loses, you can finally cut Yair. Like, because Yair kind of like.
Cut him after that loss against Max Holloway, though.
If
That guy.
He loses
I
to
mean,
Kattar,
we still have Jeremy Stevens. We still have
we need to cut
fucking
him.
Greg Hardy.
Those guys need to get
We
cut
can't
too.
keep them around and then not have Yair Rodriguez.
Yair was like
just off of principle alone.
Bro,
I don't like Yair as much as the next guy, but after that performance, he's earned a couple of L's that he can keep on adding on.
We need to be cutting some loose ends, my God.
I don't know what his contract is right now, but I'm sure he's on a 6-fight or 8-fight contract. So, but yeah. Now, with the possible foreshadowing we have in place that Giga just showed us, Francis Ngannou is defending his heavyweight strap for the first fucking time, against Cyril Gane, a former friend turned foe.
I think they're
big man gets it done. Huh?
I think they're overhyping the old
former friend turned foe.
Yeah,
they're looking for the drama. They're like, how can we really sell this fight? Neither of these guys are talking much about each other.
I think Francis is like super invested. He is the one that's talking trash. I think Cyril Gane just doesn't give a fuck. He's chilling on easy street, which I love for a fighter to just be like, nah, I don't care.
No, it's a bad timing for that. Because if Cyril Gane wins now, because he's been acting like that, he doesn't get an argument as far as getting paid. Like, Francis is doing what he needs to do as far as making sure that he's getting paid, and pretty much everything that Francis is doing, besides focusing on the fight, he needs to focus on the fight. But as far as like promotion wise and getting these other fights kind of set up, getting their ducks in a row and stuff, like that is good, but it sucks that he's overlooking his fight.
Yeah.
Fair point. Juan, who gets it done? Francis or Cyril Gane?
Francis is gonna get it done. Francis. Yeah, Cyril Gane, he's I think he's good. I think he's gonna play smart. I think he's gonna do a lot of kickboxing, and he might even go for a submission. But I think he's gonna keep Francis on the outside, and he's just gonna fuck him up.
So wait, Cyril Gane's gonna win?
No,
you just said that Cyril's gonna keep Francis on the outside, and
he is, but Francis is gonna fuck him up. Francis is gonna push it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree. I think Francis has got it, and nothing like really. Like I see the points against him, and I see like the argument for Cyril Gane, and I think Cyril Gane is like capable of it, but I think Francis is still just too good right now, and maybe it's just my fandom. Like I want Africa to have their champion. Honestly, I think maybe after Francis wins this fight, he's gonna be done or like be ready to get out, but I think that I've got Francis for this one still.
I have Cyril Gane. However, as as I think Cyril Gane wins this by the third round. I think he does pick him outside and then he wins. But I can also see Francis Ngannou knocking him out.
Yeah,
I
I
think the
think he's
tide
gonna push
turn.
the guard.
Yeah, I think the tide turns after the first round if Francis Ngannou cannot take him out in the first or in the second. I think it's going to be a long night for Francis.
Yeah.
I just think that, he's talking about Tyson Fury. He's talking about the coach. He's talking about his contract. There's just so much that's going on in Francis Ngannou's just universe right now that I just don't see it being like behooving him in any kind of way, shape, or form leading up to his first title defense. We've seen him crumble under this kind of pressure before whenever he fought Derek Lewis. I just don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
But if
I
he
could
does
see it
win,
going either way.
but if he does win, it helps him. Now, if he loses, then literally it was all for nothing. But if he wins the belt, then obviously it makes it harder for him. I'm sorry. If he wins the title defense, um, obviously focusing on the fight, that's more ideal rather than talking about all these outside things. But because Francis is in the position of getting himself and other fighters paid more, kind of showing that
Yeah.
fighters are more deserving of it. It all if he wins, it all works out perfectly.
Yeah, and that is true. I mean, the bag is there to be had by all. That's why I don't understand it coming from the UFC. You want Francis to win. You want to co-promote his fight against Tyson Fury down the line.
Yeah.
You want
UFC
his
doesn't want
fight to, but you want him to fight John Jones. Like John Jones versus Cyril Gane is greater than John Jones against, or I'm sorry, John Jones against Francis Ngannou is greater than John Jones against Cyril
Crazy.
Gane.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if he fights Cyril Gane is just a big version of John Jones. So I see Cyril Gane winning. I don't think John Jones is going to be out wrestling somebody that much bigger than him. Sorry.
But
Sorry.
with the UFC right now, alright, think about it. I'm sure they don't really want to keep John Jones around. You know what I'm saying? They don't really want to do that. They also don't really, because they know they don't really want to keep John Jones around, they don't really want to pay him. So how do they get him? How do they pay him less? By having him mash up against Cyril Gane besides for Francis Ngannou. Because if he fights Francis Ngannou, they have to pay them both a heavy amount of money. While Cyril Gane is just sitting there in the bag like, yeah, I'll take chump change, just like whatever. So I think it benefits them if Cyril Gane wins and he goes and fights John Jones, because he probably does beat John Jones, and then the UFC doesn't have to pay either of them that much money, and they get rid of John Jones.
I feel like though it's set up kind of opposite, where it's like you get a purse from the pay-per-view commission, right?
Well, you get a cut of the pay-per-view by your contract.
So like your cut is coming from how well the pay-per-view sells.
Yeah.
So you do want to put it with a big name
Mm-hmm.
like Ngannou, to make the sales so that the fighters get the cut, right?
Yeah.
The championship fighters are going to be the only ones getting a cut. That or special scenarios like
But
Connor.
John Jones, would they do that for John Jones? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
they
what
do
I'm
that
saying
for John
is like
Jones. Yeah.
they would do that for John Jones. So he is going to want to fight the biggest name because it's not going to take away from his purse. He's
not going to get any
piece
more.
of the pie.
He gets, his $5 million for Cyril Gane. He doesn't get his possible $8 to $10 million versus Francis Ngannou. But yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping for the best scenario for MMA would be Francis to win. Do I think it's possible?
Come on, Africa.
I don't care enough about that. But Because if not, dude, this is going to be the biggest bag fumble since Amanda Nunes against Pena. Because he's going to be losing out Tyson Fury, John Jones, this new contract renegotiation, missing out on that. And he's going to be looking like a fool. And he's coming off of losing a championship and going to Bellator probably, or PFL or one. Like, damn.
It's gonna be
UFC
bad.
looked this all up.
It's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be bad.
But also, it's very possible that he doesn't leave the UFC if he loses. I think he just renegotiates a contract, and then they're like back to square one, getting paid $450,000 or maybe a little bit less. But bye all these opportunities, pretty much.
Yeah.
But now, moving on from that to something that nobody has really even talked about this weekend, we have the trilogy set to happen with Brandon Moreno against Davieson Figueredo for the flyweight belt. Juan, does Davieson have an advantage with Henry in his corner?
I think
One more time.
yeah, I think having this third rematch is dangerous for the division. I think it puts the division right back in its place of almost getting wiped out by Dana White. Simply because now we're watching the third fight that we just. I don't know. I
don't think so. I think now we have some talent there. Kai Kara France just knocked the fucking shit out of Cody Garbrandt.
But that's not
Brendan
what we're.
Royval, Bontarin, Askar Askarov, Alexander Patoja, Alex Perez. We got plenty of talent at flyweight.
Figueredo should not be fighting for the championship again.
You're right. And that's where, I don't know.
The ladder stops like 4 pegs down and then nothing else moves. That's I think the same thing, but I think it's because like that just means that the lower range guys have nothing to fight towards because the like gate doesn't stop at the number 1 spot. It stops down at like number 3 right now. Mm-hmm. And then if we're just recycling the same guys, like you said, to fight the same fight, like it's a lot. And it's not helping that division that needs the help too.
I think
no, go ahead.
I think Brandon takes it home. I think he pulls it off again. But I'm not. There's nothing about this fight that gets me excited. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just.
I feel you. On that note, say Brandon Moreno defends his title successfully. What do you do with Davieson Figueredo? Does he move up to bantamweight? Do you keep him at flyweight?
But didn't he have a hard time at bantamweight? Didn't he already go there?
Or
He's
flyweight?
already a hard time missing weight
at flyweight.
At flyweight, yeah.
Yeah, bad idea. He just has to figure out whatever his outside life, whatever he's doing, and change it. I don't think he needs to switch gyms. I don't think he needs to go to a different division. I think maybe not fight a championship fight and fight a 3-round fight and then go from there. I don't know.
Fair, babe.
What about him versus Henry Cejudo?
Well, I mean, he's in his corner.
That's what I'm saying. That would be interesting.
In what weight class?
In this one.
In flyweight?
Yeah.
No, Henry's not making flyweight anymore.
No.
No.
Well,
I think for Henry, it's bantam, maybe, and he definitely wants to go to featherweight because he's trying to capture that third belt.
Henry's not going to fight again.
Yeah,
Henry's not going to fight again.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what you do with them either. I also think that Brandon's going to win. I think, too, that Brandon will not have a draw as the champion. I feel like that was kind of like a bummer when you see champions just keep the belt because they're the champion when it comes to a draw.
John Jones.
I hate that kind of. So I don't think that Brandon will allow a draw. So I'm looking forward to this more because Brandon's the champ versus then when
Davieson.
Figueredo was the champ. Figueredo's great, but yeah, I'm just excited to see Brandon defend it for the first time. But it's not terribly exciting because we've already seen it twice from his last 2 fights.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay.
Yeah. More of the same.
More of the same.
But
I think it'll be a bit different now with Brandon defending his belt. Just because that's the first time we've seen that kind of it.
So do you guys think it gets finished before championship rounds? Babe?
I hope so, but probably not.
Juan, do you think the fight goes more than 3 rounds?
I think it goes to decision.
Ooh, who wins?
Brandon.
Okay. For me, yeah, I have Brandon defending his belt. I see it going, pretty much the same way. Second or third round, it gets finished. But I don't know. Hopefully for Davieson Figueredo and for the UFC, we can see a 4th fight out of this, possibly.
No,
Which
I
would
don't
be
want
crazy.
to see a 4th fight. I don't
If
even really want to see
Davieson goes out there and beats up Brandon Moreno,
That, yeah.
then they would be 1 draw, 1-1.
I would need Brandon to win a fight, and then go back. I hate seeing people who don't have a solid defending streak as a champion. I'm tired of seeing them get an immediate rematch.
You gotta pay the pull, Brian. You gotta pay the pull.
That's dumb. If you haven't defended the belt like at least 3 times, homie, get in line.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
All right. Fair
and
point.
Maybe that's like the best thing for that division right now, too, honestly.
That would be the best thing. Yep.
I kind of have a feeling it's going to go to decision, too. I hope it doesn't, but that's what I'm anticipating right now.
Okay. Yeah. Fair. And that is it for this week's show. If I can say so, I do think it's our best episode yet. We wouldn't be here without you. We would love to talk shit with you, hear your thoughts, etc. Juan, tell the people how they can reach us.
Instagram, no.name.mma.show. Twitter, no-name-MMA1. Our Gmail, no-name-MMA-show@gmail.com. And then wherever you're watching from, make sure you leave a review, like, comment, share. Helps us out. We tend to cuss a lot and stuff, so we get demonetized in other places. So help us out.
Yeah. And we have just been added to TikTok, so check us out on there. YouTube, again, just passed 30,000 views. So thanks to everybody who has subscribed and liked and everything else.
Awesome.
Yeah, other than that, have a great rest of the week.
Bye, guys.
Oh, wait. Do you guys want to hear the surprise? So we have an interview lined up. Nah. Y'all can wait till Sunday.
Is it Diego?
But, yeah.
Is it Diego?
It's not Diego, but it might be better. But anyway, we'll keep you guys updated. Have a great rest of the week from
Mix the day, Juan.
And No Nut Shot Nina.
And me, Andy. Thank you guys for coming by, stopping by, whatever. Talking at you guys next week. As always, invest in your mental health. And
bye.
Fuck you, John Jones.
Fuck you, John Jones.
Peace.